Plan International Nigeria has called for sweeping reforms in the education sector, warning that the growing number of out-of-school children poses a serious threat to national development and future of millions of Nigerian children. Speaking during a press conference in Abuja to mark the Global Action Week on Education, Country Director of Plan International Nigeria, Dr. Charles Usie, said Nigeria still has the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, estimated at between 18.3 million and 20 million. According to him, girls account for nearly 60% of the figure. Usie attributed the worsening crisis to poverty, insecurity, harmful socio-cultural practices, weak implementation of education policies, shortage of teachers, inadequate learning materials.
Depending on who you're quoting, there's an estimated between 10 to 20 million children who are out of school. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring your understanding to what we mean when we say children are out of school. I think for many people, they still don't get what it means for children to be out of school. We are talking of children between the ages of 0 to 20. Some of them who have never been to school before, or some who started and at some point dropped out of basic education. So to that extent, when we talk of between 10 to 20 million children who are out of school, we are...
Usie also advocates the inclusion of senior secondary and vocational education in the compulsory education system, arguing that excluding children after junior secondary school limits their opportunities and future career prospects. On girls' education, he calls for the establishment of menstrual hygiene stations in schools to help reduce dropout rates among female students.
Saying that this number of children have either never been to school or dropped out of school at certain point in their life to such an extent that they have not completed basic education. Basic education is defined in Nigeria up until JSS3, junior secondary school. Now, colleagues, that's what we mean when we say out of school children. We are talking of children who, some of them are 15 years old and have never been to school. Some actually are even above that, but dropped out of school probably when they were only 4 years old and have not been able to go back. So when we talk about out of school children, this is the number, this is the category, and this is what makes them out of school. Now, this becomes really frightening for us. Because if we're talking of between 10 to 20 million, we are talking of almost 10% of our total population of 200.
He appeals to the National Assembly, federal and state government, civil society organizations, and development partners to act urgently through stronger political commitment, improved funding, and sustained reforms.
100 million. And these children will grow up to become the adults like me and you today in the near future. And the question is, how productive will they be without basic foundational learning? Now, let me also explain that basic education is not just academics. Basic education is foundational learning. That is where children learn how to form. That is where children learn habits. That is where children learn common basic etiquette when it comes to relationship, when it comes to apprehension. So it goes beyond just academics. That is why it becomes critical when children miss out on primary, what we call basic education. They miss out on a lifetime of opportunities. And this becomes really worrisome for us. So the question is why? Why do we have this number of children who are out of school?